Hello, cartoon fanatics, and welcome back to another Cartoon Corner. We are today addressing the very last episode in the Steven Universe Wanted 1 hour special that happened on Memorial Day. So, we still have a lot of new information to cover, a lot of exciting stuff. Not nearly as exciting as the trial episode in my opinion, but let's go over Lars's head. So, boy, when last we left off, Lars had died and Steven had cried on him and he turned pink, like lion pink. And we discover that Lars does in fact have the same powers as Lion, where Steven can enter through Lars's hair, which is kind of funny because Lars doesn't really have a lot of hair on his head. He just has that little mohawk thing. But Steven can enter through Lars's head and pop up in the same alternate dimension thing that he goes to when he enters Lion's mane. So that was fascinating. We have a separate tree in this location now, almost to pinpoint where Lars is and making a teleport between Lars and Lion. And through that, Steven was able to return back to Beach City, which was crazy because I'm sure most of us thought that whatever was going to happen, Steven was probably going to end up stuck on Homeworld and the crystal gems would have to find a way to go and get him. As like sort of a sneak rescue, like what they did to rescue Greg back in, gosh, I think that was Steven Bomb number 5 if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, so Steven discovers he can do this portal now because he brought Lars back to life. And he mentions Earth, and Steven goes and tells the other gems, we can all go, we can escape to Earth, and Earth is a place where you won't be attacked and you won't be killed by the diamonds for being the different gems that you are. And the other gems are going, yeah, this is a good thing, we should definitely go. But then they realize Lars himself cannot go through his own head. Because, you know, physics and anatomy. And even though Lars says he doesn't really feel much anymore as sort of extremes, he's still Lars in that he was freaking out over the whole situation. But he doesn't appear to be hungry because Steven when he went through Lion's Mane, he grabbed food and Steven was famished. He was crying just to have a sandwich. And then he brought food back for Lars, and Lars wasn't that hungry. So whatever this bringing back to life thing, this not reincarnation, that doesn't make sense. You know, this resurrection that Steven had done on Lars apparently makes him not hungry, or at least he wasn't as hungry as he would be if he were a normal human. Like Steven is half human and gems can't eat. I don't know, that's still very much up in the air. But we discover that Lars, even if they all go through his head to get back to Earth, Lars himself cannot go. So the other gems, the off-colors, decide, no, it's okay, we'll stay here. Lars will need to find his way around and figure out how things work here, and we've been here for eons, so we can help him out with that. So in a way, we have sort of a quote-unquote crystal gem team on Homeworld, which is very interesting. I mean, they aren't actually titled the Crystal Gems, but you know, they're opposed to the diamonds, they're opposed to the structured order because the order threw them down there and wanted to shatter them. So in a way, we have it's interesting because throughout the bases we have different teams of gems that support the crystal gems. Like here we have the off-color gems for Homeworld on the pink base with blue agate. We have the Famethcysts. That's hard to say. Famethcysts. Yes, there we go. You know what I'm talking about, the ones that went crazy over amethyst. But they're not exactly crystal gems, but they're kind of crystal gems in that they're totally about rebelling against the way the order is. And then, of course, we have our regular crystal gems back on Earth, protecting the Earth and wearing the stars. But in the future, if all of these gems that have proven they don't want to be ruled under the diamond order, if they all became crystal gems in the future, that would be very interesting. Because what we sort of see happening now is slowly we're kind of building an army back, so to speak. We know that Rose Quartz had an army when she fought, and then she lost most of her gems in that battle, and that was hundreds of years ago. And then she met Greg when there was just a few of them left, like Garnet and Pearl and Amethyst. And then Steven happened, and now Steven's kind of going around, and not on purpose, because I don't think Steven would be rising an army up on purpose, but he's kind of inadvertently putting these wonderful ideas in these gems' heads, and they think, hey, this is great, why should we destroy the Earth? We should protect it, we should protect other life. So in a way, with each journey Steven takes, he's actually going around and bringing in these new gems that can potentially be a part of rebuilding the Crystal Gem army to take on the diamonds. But that might be something that we won't see for a very, very long time, at least a couple of seasons later. I'm just guessing on that. So at the end of the episode, Steven is the only one to go, because Steven, when they discover they can't take LARS back, the off-color gems go, okay, we'll stay here and help LARS, and then Steven goes, all right, we'll just all stay, and LARS convinces Steven that he has to go, because he's the only one that can tell the gems what's going on. He's the only one that can explain what happened at the trial to the crystal gems. So Steven ends up going through Lars's hair and ends up back home. And that's where it ends, is we see the crystal gems and Connie and Greg all frantic because they can't find Steven anywhere, and they're trying to get him back by going through all the different portals to attempt to reach him, but they can't seem to reach him. And then when they notice Steven, they all start crying, and of course Steven's dad, Greg, races over and hugs him, and that felt great. After just thinking back on the torment that we all went through at the end of the last Steven bomb before the Wanted special, seeing that reunite was very, very satisfying. It helped a lot of us sleep that night, I think. So it's interesting, because I really thought that Steven would still end up on Homeworld, and that the crystal gems would have to go and get him. So what does this mean now? I still think, LARS is there, and the off-color gems are there, but there is a possibility that after Steven tells them everything that's happened, they might actually wind up making a makeshift ship and trying to go back to Homeworld. It just feels like a lot of this is building up to something very big, and to me that very big thing would be all of them building up this army, going to Homeworld instead of Homeworld coming to them going to Homeworld and officially taking on the diamonds and going, okay, we're ending this is it. It started with Rose, but it's going to end with all of us. So I at least I hope that's kind of the direction where it's going. That would be very exciting. And if that doesn't happen, then at least they should be able to go back somehow, find a way to get back and get LARS, or maybe LARS is kind of now like Steven's Homeworld contact, because Steven can technically go to and from Homeworld now. It's not that far of a distance anymore. So maybe instead of the crystal gems doing a makeshift ship, they can all go through Lion's Mane and then out Lars's head, which sounds really weird. But I guess, the episode was entitled that, so we better get used to the fact that Lars's head is technically a portal at this point. So they could all just, go through Lion and LARS and end up on Homeworld and get in that way. I really don't know what's going to happen, but whatever this is, what we have now is a quick connection between Earth and Homeworld. And I think that's a very crucial part in what's going to happen in future episodes. Because Homeworld was this thing that was really, really far away, and they couldn't get to it. Not even when they had a ship. It took a long time to get to it. They weren't planning on getting to it anytime soon because they just weren't ready. They didn't want to go anywhere near Homeworld. But now, thanks to Lion and LARS, you can pretty much jump from Earth to Homeworld in an instant. So this saves a lot of travel time. And through that, I'm sure there's a lot of speculation of exactly how this can be used. If some of the off-color gems might go to Earth to be an informant, or if someone from Earth will go to Homeworld to help be a spy there. It's really unknown at the moment, but the big thing is we have these portals. We can get to Homeworld. It's more accessible now. So something tells me this isn't the last we've seen of Homeworld. We're going to see a lot more of Homeworld now. And then also we still have the whole thing with figuring out what happened to Pink Diamond and who actually shattered Pink Diamond. Because at this point, it seems really unlikely that Rose Quartz actually shattered Pink Diamond. I mean, it could still be a possibility, but just kind of based on what we knew about Rose Quartz, that didn't seem like her style. Plus, a lot of people noted that in the Bismuth episode, Bismuth pulled out the sword, and she pointed out that the sword that she made for Rose was a good weapon and that it was meant to poof a gem but not shatter it. And the fact that Blue Diamond states that Pink Diamond was shattered with a sword has everyone speculating and going, well, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. There's no way Rose Quartz could have shattered Pink Diamond with a sword when Rose Quartz's sword couldn't shatter. So, I mean, there's still lots of speculation with that. Obviously, everyone's heads are churning like, oh, it could have been Yellow Diamond because she seems super guilty, or it could have been White Diamond because we literally know nothing about her. And you don't keep a character that shrouded in shadow unless there's something big going on. We've kind of seen sort of hints of White Diamond throughout the series. And I think when we see White Diamond, that'll be the sign that we're really reaching the end of the show as a whole. So I guess, I don't know. It's kind of, it's at the point where you want more answers, but once you get the biggest mysteries solved, then there really isn't much else of a show to go off of except having a climax with the results of those mysteries. I don't know. I'm trying my best to not think about this in relation to Gravity Falls, because mystery-wise, Steven Universe has a lot of mystery structure parallels as Gravity Falls, where they have these huge build-ups and these mysteries we don't really know the answers to, but there are subtle clues everywhere, and we just can't figure them out at the moment. And we do have theories, and one day those theories will be proven right or wrong, and we know once they do, that'll pretty much be a sign that the show is coming to an end. So it'll be a bittersweet moment. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing how the Lion Lars portals are going to be used now to access Homeworld. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's exciting. We're getting closer and closer to this huge climax, from what I'm guessing, just a huge climax between the crystal gems and the diamonds. So when that happens, I'm sure everyone will be in an uproar about it, because it's going to be really crazy when it happens. I know I'll be crazy about it. So those are my thoughts. That's what I have. If you like this video, go ahead and put a thumbs up and press that like button. You can comment your own ideas below. Who do you think actually shattered Pink Diamond? And how do you think the portals are going to be used in the future? And if we're actually coming close to the end of the series or not? And also don't forget to subscribe as well. We do a lot more fun videos. There'll be a lot more cartoon corners coming up. There's just lots of stuff, so you can subscribe and check all the fun stuff out on the channel. And I will see you guys on the next cartoon adventure.